Today's video is going to be a book haul and I'm so excited. Stay tuned.
Why do you leave me lonely?
Hi guys, so I apologize first of all, there are workmen out front and there's beeping trucks and all this great stuff going on, so hopefully it won't come through in the video, but if it does, I apologize. So I went to a local store here called Value Village and they have used books, a whole bunch of used clothing and things like that, but they also have used books, and every time, I should have known better, every time I go there I spend so much money on books, it isn't even funny. But this time I was like, you know what? I just want the one book. That's all I'm going for. If I don't find it, I won't get any other books. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. So, you might remember from my BookTube newbie tag, I was talking about a bunch of my books being back in Nova Scotia and how I missed my books. Missed them. I really can't wait to get back home to Nova Scotia and be able to dig out my boxes and boxes of books. And also how I've been trying to build up my physical book collection. Ha. Usually I would save the best for last, but I'm not going to this time. I'm so super excited about this. Like, I'm not even kidding. Okay, so I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the books from Chronicles of Narnia in that store. And I gotta tell you, a lot of the books that I found there don't even look like they were opened. We've got the Magicians Nephew. Now they're all different editions, but they're beautiful. So there's that one there, Magicians Nephew, book number 1. Then there is, and I mean, look at this. It's pristine. I opened it yesterday to read some from it, but I mean, it's oh man, it's gorgeous. Okay, stop gushing for a little bit. This one here is this one here is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe from Chronicles of Narnia. And it's book 2, and it's the movie themed cover, which I usually don't go for, but I mean, that's beautiful. And it's hardcover. I love hardcovers. Usually can't afford hardcovers, but I love hardcovers. Okay, so that's book number 2. Then these other ones look like they're all from the same editions. They are all from the same edition. So it's the Chronicles of Narnia full color collector's edition. That's right at the bottom there. And it's beautiful, and it has again, doesn't look like it's been opened until now. Let me see. There's pictures in here like that, and another one there. Oh, the light's shining on that. It's glossy pages as well. There, that works. Okay, so that is The Horse and His Boy. Should have said that in the beginning. Sorry, I'm just so excited. Okay, and then Prince Caspian. Also the collector's edition, full color collector's edition. And then The Last Battle. Also full color collector's edition. And they're so gorgeous. and they don't look like they've been opened. Like, that's just so awesome. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm geeking out here, I know. But there were other books that I got. Whole bunch of other books that I got. How many did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Like 21 books and then one picture book, which was really cute. I'll show that to you in a second. It's not the typical picture book, but it was nostalgia for me. This one here, I remember this from my childhood, but I never had any interest in reading it because the title is just blah. But my sister highly recommends it. She loved this book. How to Eat Fried Worms by Thomas Rockwell. And back of it says, because of a bet, Billy is in the uncomfortable position of having to eat 15 worms in 15 days. The worms are readily supplied by his opponent, whose motto seems to be the bigger and juicier the better. This is not helping convince me to read this book. At first, Billy's problem is simply whether or not he can manage to swallow the worm that is placed ceremoniously before him, despite the free choice of condiments from peanut butter to horseradish. But later, it begins to look like Billy will win, and the challenge becomes whether or not Billy can get to the worm in order to eat it. Billy's family, after checking with the doctor, takes everything in stride and even helps Billy through the gastronomic ordeal that twists and turns with each new day, leaving the outcome of the bet continually in doubt. What's the year on this? They're quite old. I knew that's gonna happen. 1973. Yeah, the year I was born, and I just finished saying it's quite old. Beverly Cleary. I read her a lot when I was a kid, and I couldn't find the book that I remember the most, which is Beverly Quimby, age 8. You guys want me to read the back of it for everyone? I better get my glasses. Hold on. Got my glasses to read the backs of these. They're a little spotted. Hold on. So, Beverly Cleary, Ramona and Her Father. That was published in like 1975, I believe. Yes, 1975 and 1977. Okay, so the back says, Ramona just wanted everyone to be happy. If only her father would smile and joke again. Her mother would look less worried, her sister would be cheerful, and Picky would eat his cat food. But Ramona's father had lost his job, and nobody was in a very good mood. Ramona kept trying to cheer up her family, but every new idea seemed to cause more trouble. Her sister Beezus called her a pest, her parents became impatient with her, and her teacher claimed she had forgotten her manners. But when her father told her he wouldn't trade her for $1 million, Ramona knew everything was going to be okay. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but yeah, Ramona and Her Father. So that's the earliest one in the series that I have. And then Ramona and Her Mother, next one. And that says, Ramona wished her mother would quit her job and stay home all day the way she used to. Then maybe she'd have time to notice that Ramona was not a baby anymore. She was 7.5 and quite grown up. If her mother stayed home, Ramona wouldn't have to be dropped off at Howie's grandmother's after school, and she wouldn't have to put up with Howie's little sister, Willa Jean. The worst part was when people said that Willa Jean reminded them of Ramona. But after working all day, both Mr. and Mrs. Quimby were so tired they didn't have much time to notice how grown-up Ramona had become. Ramona did get their attention when she did something not so grown-up, like squeezing all the toothpaste out of the tube. If only Mrs. Quimby would stay home, they could do grown-up things together, as she did with Ramona's sister, Beezus. Then Ramona Forever is the next one. And it says, what's going to happen next at the Quimby house? Things are changing quickly for Ramona, who finds that being a grown-up third grader is hard work. Nothing is the way it used to be. Mr. Quimby worries about Mr. Quimby worries about finding a teaching job, while Ramona worries about where they'll move if he does. Then, Ramona's Aunt Bee says she's getting married in 2 weeks. This is Ramona's big chance to be a bridesmaid, but can they plan a wedding in such a short amount of time? What will happen next? One surprise seems to follow another, but what will Ramona say about the biggest surprise of all, one that will change her life forever? Okay. I don't know. Grade 3, I would think Flower Girl. But the next one is Beverly Cleary's The Mouse and the Motorcycle. And it says, Ralph the Mouse ventures out from behind the piney knothole in the wall of his hotel room home, scrambles up the telephone wire to eat the end table, and climbs aboard the toy motorcycle left there by a young guest. His thrill ride does not last long. The ringing telephone startles Ralph, and he and the motorcycle take a terrible fall, right to the bottom of a metal wastebasket. Luckily, Keith, the owner of the motorcycle, returns to find his toy. Keith rescues Ralph and teaches him how to ride the bike. Thus begins a great friendship and many awesome adventures. Once a mouse can ride a motorcycle, almost anything can happen. Runaway Ralph is the next one. I don't know if there's any books in between in the series, but fed up with his timid mother and uncle and his squirmy little cousins, Ralph hops onto his toy motorcycle and zooms down the road to summer camp. It turns out camp is not all peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and fun. A strict watchdog, a mouse-hungry cat, and a troubled boy named Garth lead Ralph on some fur-raising escapades. Perhaps home isn't such a bad place to be, if only Ralph can find a way to get there again. Poor Ralph. And then the next one is Ralph S. Mouse. Ralph's pesky cousins are wrecking his motorcycle, and his janitor friend Matt is in trouble because there seem to be mice in the hotel. All in all, things are not going well at the Mountain View Inn. So Ralph persuades his young pal Ryan to take him to school. Ralph is an instant hit with Ryan's classmates, but he doesn't like being forced to run through a maze or the threat of an exterminator coming to the school. Worst of all, Ryan gets into a fight with a classmate, and Ralph's precious motorcycle is broken. Is Ralph S. Mouse smart enough to steer his sad situation to a happy ending? Okay, did anyone else notice that in there it's like, you know, he's a mouse and Matt is in trouble because there seem to be mice in the hotel? I think Ralph might be having an existential crisis. So we stopped at Ralph S. Mouse's existential crisis. Now we're on to Lemony Snicket. I haven't read these yet. They've been recommended to me by my sister and my nieces. And says inside extra stories and extra art for no extra cents. But, so book 1. Are you made faint-hearted by death? Does fire unnerve you? Is a villain something that might crop up in future nightmares of yours? Are you thrilled by nefarious plots? Is cold porridge upsetting to you? Vicious threats? Hooks? Uncomfortable clothing? It is likely that your answers will reveal a series of unfortunate events to be ill-suited for your personal use. A librarian, bookseller, or acquaintance should be able to suggest books more appropriate for your fragile temperament. But to the rarest of readers we say, proceed, but cautiously. Not very many books suggest you don't read the book, but okay. Be advised, this volume constitutes only 1/13 of Mr. Snicket's series of unfortunate events. Readers unafraid of bloodshed will want to continue with the second installment, The Reptile Room. Others will not. Okay, I wasn't able to find a whole series of this, but a series of unfortunate events. Book the Third by Lemony Snicket, The Wide Window. Dear reader, if you have not read anything about the Baudelaire orphans, then before you read even more Even one more sentence, you should know this. Violet, Klaus, and Sunny are kind-hearted and quick-witted, but their lives, I'm sorry to say, are filled with bad luck and misery. All of the stories about these 3 children are unhappy and wretched, and the one you are holding may be the worst of them all. If you haven't got the stomach for a story that includes a hurricane, a signaling device, hungry leeches, cold cucumber soup, a horrible villain, and a doll named Pretty Penny, then this book will probably fill you with despair. I will continue to record these tragic tales, for that is what I do. You, however, should decide for yourself whether you can possibly endure this miserable story. With all due respect, Lemony Snicket. That's hilarious. Alright, so then, the next one that I was able to get was Book the 5th by Lemony Snicket, The Austere Academy. Okay, dear reader, if you are... It's a different one each time. If you are looking for a story about cheerful youngsters spending a jolly time at boarding school, look elsewhere. Violet, Klaus, and Sunny Baudelaire are intelligent and resourceful children, and you might expect that they would do very well at school. Don't. For the Baudelaires, school turns out to be another miserable episode in their unlucky lives. These poor kids. Truth be told, within the chapters that make up this dreadful story, the children will face snapping crabs, strict punishment, dripping fungus, comprehensive exams, violin recitals. Violet kind of stuck with the theme though. Violin recitals, SORE, S-O-R-E. It's like an acronym. Is that focusing? Yeah, right there. And the metric system. It is my solemn duty to stay up all night researching and writing the history of these 3 hapless youngsters, but you may be more comfortable getting a good night's sleep. In that case, you should probably choose some other book. With all due respect, Lemony Snicket. Well, just the backs of them makes me want to read them, and that's very clever. Reverse psychology. Alright, let's see. Okay, so now we've got doomed to or blessed with eternal life. After drinking from a magic spring, Tuck family wanders about trying to live as inconspicuously and comfortably as they can. When 10-year-old Winnie Foster stumbles on their secret, the Tucks take her home and explain why living forever at one age is less a blessing than it might seem. Complications arise when Winnie is followed by a stranger who wants to market the spring water for a fortune. Laura Ingalls Wilder, The Little House on the Prairie. That was a show I used to watch as a kid, but I've never read the books. The big woods are getting too crowded. Pa Ingalls decides to sell the old house and the family sets out for Indian country. They travel from Wisconsin to Kansas, and there, finally, Pa builds their little house on the prairie. Sometimes farm life is difficult, even dangerous, but Laura and the family are kept busy and are happy with the promise of their new life on the prairie. So this was published. Well, it's got artwork as well. 1935. Wow. It's almost 100 years old. And the next one, Bridge to Terabithia. I've seen the movie, haven't read the book. We need a place, she said, just for us. It would be so secret that we would never tell anyone in the whole world about it. She lowered her voice almost to a whisper. It might be a whole secret country, and you and I would be the rulers of it. It was Leslie's idea to create Terabithia, their secret kingdom in the woods where she and Jess reigned as queen and king. There, no enemy, not their teacher, Monster Mouth Myers, their bullying schoolmates, Jess's 4 sisters, or even Jess's own fears and Leslie's imaginary foes could defeat them. Jess's friendship with Leslie and the worlds of imagination and learning that she opens up to him change him forever and enable him to cope with the unexpected tragedy that touches them all. I remember that tragedy. That was a sad movie. Then the next one, you guys are going to know this one, Charlotte's Web. You probably knew all of them, to be quite honest, but Wilbur was lovingly raised by a girl named Fern, but now he's a barn pig. He's bored and lonely until he meets Charlotte, the beautiful gray spider who also lives in the barn. Charlotte thinks of a wonderful way to save Wilbur from a pig's unhappy fate. Her clever plan will delight you in this famous story. Confession time. I've never actually read this book. My sister read it, but I guess I was probably busy reading Hardy Boys books. But yeah, I have seen the movie, and I think it had Dakota Fanning in it. I'm not positive on that. I'm gonna... These are about to fall. Okay. Next one is another one that looks brand spanking new, and it's Stuart Little by E.B. White. And there's nothing written on the back. But it's got the color photos in it. And all throughout, actually. So that's kind of cool. But I don't know...
Is there a synopsis anywhere? Is the author? Nope.
There's no... That's the first time I've ever seen a book without a synopsis anywhere on the book. Like, that's... For me, anyway, unheard of. Hee kitty cat. Stuart Little. Okay, so there's no blurb for me to read for that one. And then this one here, this is a young adult one. This is, it's based on a TV show, and I remember reading this when I was, I think, late teens, early 20s. When was it published? Yeah, late teens, early 20s. Anyway, it's Star Trek Next Generation, Imzadi. So it focuses on the history and romance between Deanna and Riker. And then an older Riker, so there's some time travel in it. So it says, the back of it says, Imzadi, help me. Riker raced into Deanna's quarters and was horrified by the sight that greeted his eyes. Deanna was lying on the floor, convulsions shaking her. Riker to sickbay, where's that med unit? He shouted desperately, and didn't even wait for a reply as he dropped down next to the trembling counselor. His hands moved helplessly over her, and he fought down his own terror as he said, shh. Everything's going to be okay. It's okay, Deanna. Her eyes were clouding over. He didn't even think she could see him. He had no idea what was happening to her, and even more terrifying, neither did she. Imzadi, she whispered again, her chin shaking. Please, help me, help. I will, he said desperately. I promise, But she didn't hear him. Her breath rattled once more in her chest, and then she was gone. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so, yeah. I don't remember what happens in the book. I remember who it focuses on. I remember there's something about the present and the future, but I don't remember the plot, but I remember loving this book. So yeah, definitely got this. Now the picture book. This is pure nostalgia. I love the show Full House, and when I was younger, I would always, whether it was New Kids on the Block or River Phoenix or Full House, I would cut out pictures from magazines and articles and all these things and put them in scrapbooks. Those are other things that are back home in Nova Scotia. Can't wait to get to them. But anyway, this is Jessie's Full House photo album, snapshot album. So it says, a lot has happened to Jesse Katsopoulos since he first moved into the Tanner home on ABC TV's Full House. I remember one thing that happened. He changed his last name, because when the show first started, he was Jesse Cochran, and then Jesse Katsopoulos. And in Jesse's Full House snapshot album, he fills you in on all the details. This wild and wacky guy has gone from being most eligible bachelor to most loving husband to most incredible dad of twin boys. Now, with babies Nicholas and Alexander joining the Full House gang, Jesse, Rebecca, DJ, Stephanie, Michelle, Danny, and Joey, the joint's really jumping over at the Tanners. Flip through the full color photos in Jesse's Full House snapshot album and meet all these fun folks. And read all about the changes, challenges, and overall good times that Jesse has enjoyed with them through many hit seasons on this popular series. This is so cool! Oh, so many memories. Okay, I recently started watching this again on Netflix, but we got this, Joey with his, Jesse with his 2 kids. When was this published? 1993, yeah, okay. So, and we got this. Like just all these little photos and little factoids about the show. I love it. I love it! Geeking out again over one of my favorite 80s, 90s TV shows. I started watching this when I was babysitting my next door neighbor's 2 little girls, Christina and Melissa. And I got them into the show as well, which was just something fun for us to watch as we were, you know, hanging out together. Oh, the Elvis episode, that was one of my favorites. Since my baby left me. Oh, that was another one too. They sang Rockin' Robin by the Jacksons, I think, Jackson 5. Oh yeah, there was so much music in this show that I loved. Beach Boys made a couple of appearances, which I loved as well. But yeah, just like, love this, love this. Look at that hair. Okay, so yeah, I was always crushing on John Stamos even before this show started, and then the show started and my crush just went right through the roof. Loved him. Okay, so that is my book haul. All those books from this store came to, as you saw from the clip that I showed, they have sales where first, I mean, the books are, middle grade books are $1.50 or $1.59 each, and then you buy 4 and get 1 free, and so all in all of those books came to $34 and change. And then I got 20% off because I also did a book unhaul and took some books that I either wasn't enjoying or knew I wasn't going to read and donated those for other people to purchase. So when you do that at the store, you get a coupon for 20% off any order $50 or more. So I got 20% off the $34 and change, which brought it down to I think about $28 and change. And it was, I love shopping for books there. Such great deals, and I don't know how much of the money goes to charity, but a percentage of it does, and any percentage helps. So that was my book haul. So now I need to figure out where to put it on my bookshelves because I can't afford another bookcase. So I have a couple creative ideas that I hope will work, and that'll be my next video. So that's what I have for you today. I'm about to head out to Starbucks for a refresher with my family. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe below. Don't forget to click the bell so that you get notified when I upload new videos, which will be every Wednesday and Friday. BookTube videos every Wednesday, AuthorTube videos every Friday. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Bye-bye.
So where do you leave? Where do you go? Would you just stay if I came home? We could go for a drive, figure it out, calm your fears and drown your doubt. But I gotta